Grizzlies have suspended Ja Morant from team activities after he was seen flashing another gun in another IG Live video. No punishment from the league yet, but Woj noting that he expects a lengthy and significant suspension to start the next season. The Grizzlies have suspended him from basketball-related activities. Brew, your reaction?
Well, let me say this first. You guys know I do a lot of mentoring of young African-American men. I started an organization, and that's a big part of what we do. But I would tell every black man I know, particularly young black men, never to do that. Never do what he did, okay? I say that to say I am not defending or condoning, and I don't agree with what Ja Morant did. But what he did was stupid, but was it wrong? Because if he was, or unlawful, if he's in Tennessee where he plays, obviously, that's not against the law to have a gun in a car like that.
Do that in Chipotle.
Yeah, I mean, so this country has a long history, as we all know, of punishing African-American men for things they don't punish white men for. Witness the war on drugs, obviously a different conversation. And I'm just saying, let's keep that in mind. If this were Bryce Harper doing that, if this were Josh Allen doing that, if this were a hockey player doing that, would there be as much of an uproar and, a huge punishment and all that? I'm just throwing that out because I think we need to keep that in mind when we discuss this situation. And he really didn't break the law if he was in a state where that's legal. Mm-hmm. That said, I'm worried about Ja Morant's safety.
Yeah.
Because he is putting himself out there like he's a real gangster. And real gangsters may test him.
Yes.
Because you putting it out there like you in this world, and this is what you do, and this is where you come from, even though we know you didn't. Now a lot of them might test him, and he could get hurt or worse. He could hurt somebody or worse, and then your career is ruined. So all that said, I do think he should be punished strongly with a long suspension, maybe 10, anywhere from 15, 25 games, I don't know. But for his own good. Yeah. I'm saying this for his own good because he needs a wake-up call that he is blowing his career either whether through an NBA suspension, obviously the endorsements, he lost $40 million from the All-NBA team, or he's putting himself in actual real danger by doing this stuff. So I hope he needs a wake-up call, and if it takes a suspension to do it, so be it. But we just keep the racial element in line.
Well, so listen, I want to talk about that part just to start with, and then I'm going to talk about the Ja part. What Bruce said is 100% accurate. And the little brief history lesson, this is, kind of a passion of mine outside of sports, is American history, particularly from basically 1865 until the late 1960s. You want to know the most effective, immediate gun control regulations this country saw for decades was enacted by Governor Ronald Reagan with the help of the NRA. It's called the Mulford Act. You know why? Because the Black Panthers were lawfully marching the state capitol, and they said, oh boy, you got Ronald Reagan and the NRA to agree on gun control because it was young black men. So exactly. I empathize and understand folks saying, you got to be kidding me. We're allowed to carry semi-automatic rifles into fast food restaurants, and now we're going to say Ja did something wrong when he didn't do anything illegal. I understand the boiling hypocrisy there that people have. But this is so reckless, and there are a lot of things, Wilds, that are not illegal that the NBA or your team would suspend you for. If Ja tweeted, Jaren Jackson Jr. is the most overrated defender in the league, can't believe he won Defensive Player of the Year, he would get in trouble. That is not against the law. It's not even reckless or dangerous. If Ja regularly put out pornographic images, the NBA would say stop, and if he was like, okay, I'll stop, and then did it again, he would get in trouble. So the idea that because what someone did is not against the law means their private employer can't punish them is not true. And Brew's bigger point, which is the one I also tried to hammer on the first time this happened, is this is dangerous. And Bruce said 15 to 20 games, Wilds. If I'm Adam Silver, I am taking a much harder look at, to me, what is the most damning allegation of them all. It's not the time he fought the 17-year-old allegedly and had a pistol in his waistband. It's not the time he went to the mall and threatened the security guard allegedly. It's not the time he went to the volleyball game and threatened the high schooler allegedly. It's not the first IG video with the gun. It's not the second IG video with the gun. It's the incident with the Pacers. Because the story there was laser pointer with the same fella that was driving that car. Ja in a car with the guy. It's like, no evidence there was a gun. I believe there was a gun now. I always thought it, but now I'm like, you obviously play with guns. You obviously have guns. And so that wilds is, even if there was never you're never going to pull the trigger, that is pointing a deadly weapon at other NBA guys.
I was under the impression it wasn't him.
Well,
it was his best,
whomever.
friend, they
I
say.
don't know.
Not that that's
I don't know
good,
because
but
Wilds, the
it's better than if it's him.
buddy there, once he saw Ja had the gun, put the IG live down.
Yeah.
Even the buddy was like, "Oh boy, we can't do that."
Yeah. His IG live that had 111 streaming people watching.
Yeah.
So you're trying to clout chase for 111 people. Just to go back to March, when he was suspended for 8 games, the official statement from the NBA was without pay for conduct detrimental to the league. So it was what you were touching on. So moving forward, Brew, do you think it's on the board that Memphis considers moving on from Ja Morant, trading Ja Morant? And I know that hasn't been really broached too much because I think the reaction is, well, surely we need to change the culture of the team. Let's get rid of Dillon Brooks. But Ja Morant is too valuable. Well, just statistically, in games that Ja has missed, whether it be the suspension or injury, with Ja, they're 82-50, 621. Without Ja, 33-17, 660. So it's a
more.
better winning percentage without Ja, which makes me think, maybe this is on the board if Memphis was serious about changing the culture.
Yeah, I hear you. And those numbers lend support to that. I wouldn't go there yet if I were Memphis. He needs, a part of his suspension should be real counseling. He's struggling with an identity crisis. He wants to be something he's not. He wants to be a gangster, and what he wants to be is unfortunately something that could cost him his life or his career. And so he needs some counseling. If I'm the Grizzlies and this dude is that great, and I know the records, Nick, I think you would agree with me. They don't have a chance to win a championship without a player like Ja Morant.
But you could try to.
Now, maybe you get something like that, but another team, I don't know, teams might lowball you, but I would try to make it work because he's so great if it can.
I understand that. Here's why my biggest concern. We just saw, unequivocally, the first time he did this, it cost him $39 million. Contract written, signed, done. If he's All-NBA, $39 million. And then he does it again. What counseling is going to be more impactful than you just lost $40 million? I don't know.
Well, it's really behavior.
I don't know, man.
I hear he should get counseling.
I think getting traded could be the best thing for him.
You don't need counseling to stop holding guns in Instagram and social media. Just stop it.
Okay, we're waiting to see what the league comes down with. Coming up next is the Warriors dynasty officially over.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.